So basically, the quantity takeoff. This is the software. Okay, the Autodesk Quantity Takeoff. Okay, right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is the software. Basically, this software used in the Windows 7's very flexible. Okay, if you are using in the Windows 10 and 8, then it will be some errors are also occurred in this software. Okay, so basically, you know that when we are calculating that the any estimations and the cost, generally we use that the Excel sheet, right? The manual calculations. Yes,
Okay.
but
Yes.
this software helps that if you have a CAD drawing, okay, because the CAD have the different types of format files. Yes, right. The main
Yes.
files of CAD will be that the .dwg. Okay, okay. The another
Yeah.
file format of CAD will be .dwf. Okay.
F.
Yes,
Yes.
dwf. You can also write down, so it will be helps in the further software also.
Yes, sir.
uh, the .dwg will be used in the AutoCAD. Okay, the default, if you are saved that the CAD file, the default it will be saved in the .dwg. Okay,
Yeah.
and the Autodesk Quantity Takeoff required that the format, if you are using that the estimate, suppose that if you have a section view, if you have a create a section view in a AutoCAD, that is the wall sections, you can say that you have created, and then you can find out that the estimate of that wall sections, how much the material we have to use. Okay, what is the area, what is the volume we have to use, and after that on the current market rate, if you are providing that the material, then you can identify that the cost. Okay, the material cost, the labor cost, you can use that the contractor subcontractor cost and the total cost finally, right? So the Autodesk Quantity Takeoff required that .dwf format you can write down. Okay, so this is the another format of the CAD. Okay, and the CAD will be that another format, that is the .dxf. Okay, that is
Text.
required .dxf.
DX.
Yes, so this format will be required in the Staad Pro when you are using that the Staad Pro, and if you want to calculate that the structure, that is the reinforcement and the detail reinforcement details, if you want, if you are calculating on a structure on the beam column, okay, generally, then suppose if you have a CAD plan, you can create it that, and after that you can calculate that the number of columns, the reinforcement for the beams and columns. Then you have to import that the DXF file in the Staad Pro. Okay, it doesn't support that the DWG and DWF. It only required that the DXF format. Okay,
DX. Okay.
so you have to remember all this. So which software required that the different software, and if you are using that the Etabs, then you have to require that the DWG or DXF both format. Okay, so Etabs support that the both files. Okay, right. So basically the
So we
thing
can
for,
use any of them, no?
yes, we can use if you are using that the AutoCAD, then you can use any of them, but
Okay.
the for
Okay.
the for if you are importing that in any other software, then you have to remember that which format we have to import on that
It
software.
supports.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
otherwise it doesn't support that format. Suppose that if you have a DWG file and if you want to import in the Staad Pro, then it is not supported in that format. Okay, but
Support.
if you are
Okay.
using that
Okay.
the ETABs, then it will be supported. Okay, same that if you are using that the DXF and you can import in the Autodesk Quantity Takeoff, then it will be sometimes it's supported and sometimes it may not be supported. Okay, but
Okay.
Autodesk Quantity also support that the DWG format, but if you have a window that is the Windows 7. Okay, if you are using that the Windows 7, then it can easily import that the DWG file, but if you are using that the Windows 10 and 8 like this, then you have to use that the DWF format. Okay,
Okay.
so you can see that one hands-on file also available there. Okay, so these are the these hands-on files have the various types of exercise. Okay, right, you can practice that the wall sections view. Okay, you can see that wall sections, wall with opening. Okay, So all are the, you can see that the DWF format, right?
PDF format. Okay.
Yes. So these are
Yes,
the
yes.
exercise files you have to, if you want to uh, complete that all the exercise and you have a practice on that exercise, then you can identify that any type of building and you can identify that any cost, right? Okay,
Okay.
clear?
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you are using that
Sir,
the,
I have one question.
yes,
Yeah. So sometimes we cut the section in Revit because I use sometimes Revit for
yes, yes,
sectioning.
yes, yes,
So is
yes.
it
So you can also, you can convert, you can also use that the 3D, so 3D files and 2D files in the same format. If you are
okay?
using
Okay.
that the hands-on file, so in this format some files are of 3D. Okay, that is
Okay.
a
Okay. Yeah.
residential building.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is also in the 3D format. The wall quantity takeoff,
Okay.
it is also in the 3D view. Okay, so if you
Okay.
are, if you have
Yeah.
a, if you cut the sections in the Revit architecture, then you can export in the CAD. Yes or no? You can directly export in the CAD that sections view.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and after that you can, if
Yes,
you
sir.
are importing in the export in the CAD, and then you can save that in a DWF format, and then you can import in a Autodesk Quantity Takeoff, and then you can use. Okay, right?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So no any confusion about the software. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start. So this is a PPT. Okay, so before that we cover that the some theoretical part. Okay, so the term is the building estimation and costing. Okay, right. It
Yeah.
means that we have to estimate the building, and after that we have to calculate the cost.
Const.
Okay, right.
Oh,
And we have to use that the, for the building estimation we use that the software that is Autodesk Quantity Takeoff,
quantity
right?
takeoff.
Okay, so before that there are two terms. What is the meaning of estimate and what is estimations? So what are you think about the, what is the meaning of estimate and estimation means? What is the difference between
Sir,
estimate?
estimate is the cost which we have to
Estimate.
require the construction, and estimation is the process of the calculation of the total cost.
Yes, right. It means that you can so, say that if a probable cost we have recommended for any works, okay, that means that it is the estimated cost. It means that estimate.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you are
Hmm.
using that the methods of preparing of any estimate, then it is a part of
Yeah.
estimation. Okay,
Hmm.
mean if you have the different types of works and if you want to calculate, and the procedures that the required for the calculations are called the estimations, right? So you
Yeah.
understood what is the difference between estimate and
Okay.
estimation. Okay, so basically you can say that here is also written that for all engineering works, okay, it means that for every engineering work it is recommended to know that the probable cost of construction, that is the estimated cost. Means upon simple see, if you are using that, it is a probable cost. That it means if you have constructed a building that is the 1 floors and 2 floor, and you can estimate that the 10 lakh and the 15 lakh rupees we have to invested for the construction, so that is the probable cost, not the exact cost. Okay, and if the constructions were completed and you
Hmm.
can calculate that we have invested that the total 20 lakhs and something
Hmm.
rupees, that is the actual cost we have calculated. Okay, so that is the estimation, right?
Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
and the next term, if the estimated cost is more than available, then some modifications in the design will be made to reduce the cost. Yes, it is the right. If the suppose you have given that key, I have that amount, okay, suppose the x amount are available for me, and if it is the estimated cost will be the x plus 1, it means that our constructions, it means that we have to reduce that, okay, the site of
Okay.
constructions, right? Okay, so we have to minimize that and you have to reduce that the cost, and we have to minimize that where we have to keep that the extra material and the extra amount. Okay, because it is not necessary that if your available cost is less and the estimated cost is more than the available cost, So you have to think about that, because you have to maximize or minimize that the estimations, right? Now the next one, it is in preparing an estimate, the quantity of different items of work are calculated. Okay, so if you are calculating that the estimations there, you have to calculate that the different types of work for quantities. Okay, right? So these are the difference between, you understood what is the difference between estimate and estimation. Okay, right. Now the next one, that is the basically there are two types of estimate, that is the detailed estimate, okay, and the actual cost. Okay, right. So what is detailed estimate? Preparation of detailed estimate consists of working out that the quantities of item of works. Okay, so there are various items of works in the constructions part, and if you are preparing that the estimate, and we are working on that estimate, that is the detailed estimate. Okay, so we are preparing that the list of work and the quantities of work. Okay, now the actual cost, actual cost is a work is known as the completion of work, means after that the work, your constructions will be completed, and then you calculated that the cost, that is the actual cost we are invested for the constructions, right? Okay, now here we start that the software, that is the quantity takeoff. What is the meaning of quantity takeoff? So here is the process of measuring quantity of material from the drawings and the specifications prepared by the architects, engineers and other engineers are known as quantity takeoff. Okay, so if you are calculating that the different types of materials for from the drawings and the specifications given by the engineers, architects and the other persons, so if you are mentions all the details in a single sheet, that is the quantity takeoff. Okay, right. Basically the quantity takeoff is the we have to calculate that the cost of constructions, that is the quantity takeoff, you can say that. Okay, so, and here is the one more option, that is the Autodesk Quantity Takeoff gives estimated the tools to perform the digital takeoff. Okay, so you can see that when we are using that the Excel sheet, we have to calculate by the manually. Yes, yes or no? So we are using that the formula, then we have to calculate. But here the Autodesk Quantity Takeoff gives that the various types of tools by which we can calculate that the estimate of the different types of drawings, right? Okay, different types of drawings and different in the different fields. Okay, in the 2D format also and the 3D format also, and that gives you that the accurate and easy drawings. Okay, you can calculate that the more accurate by the manual drawings. Yes or no? Okay, so if you are using that the manual work, so it gives that the accurate quantity takeoff. Okay, right. Now what are the benefits of quantity takeoff? Okay, so using quantity takeoff, okay, you can combine multiple source of two-dimensional and three-dimensional design. Okay, you can calculate in the 2D format also and in the 3D format also, and generate quantity takeoff to create that the cost estimate. Okay, and in this we can use that the AutoCAD. Okay, we can use that this AutoCAD drawing, the Revit drawing. Okay, that is the architecture, and you can also use that the civil 3D. Okay, that is the road design. You can also calculate that the road constructions. Okay, so and here one more thing, that is the DWF and non-DWF file, it will be supported. Okay, so it will support that if any a PDF file and like this, you can also use in this format. Okay, so that is the non-DWF there, that is the PDF, PNG, like this. Okay, now the QTO workflow, it means that how can we have to use that the process to calculate any cost or quantity takeoff. Okay, so first what we have to do, first you have to create a project. Okay, after that you have to import that the drawings and organize that the document. Then you have to specify that the sheet, okay, sheet size and what are the units you have to taken. Okay, and then create that the takeoff. It means that what we have to do, what is the meaning of takeoff? Create takeoff data. It means that we have to create that the number of items. Okay, suppose if you
Yes.
are using that the wall section, so what are the items we have to cover? That is the foundation concrete, right? Foundation plane,
Yes.
DPC, wall,
Listen. One.
okay, and the plaster. Yes.
Mm.
So these are the various types of items we have to given in the takeoff data, and after that we have to calculate that the area, the volume, and the cost, right? And after that,
Okay.
in the last step, we have to output takeoff data and to reports and export the files in the Excel format.
Thanks.
Okay, so we can also export that our drawings, okay, in the Excel.
Yes.
So these are the workflow by which we have to use. Now we have
Yes.
to next the topic, that is the takeoff tools. What are the
Okay.
takeoff tools we have to use in the QTO? So basically there are two types of takeoff tools. That is the one is the automatic, and the another one that is the
Take
manual
off
takeoff. Okay,
tools. Manual.
so automatic takeoff generally use that the DWF files. Okay, generally we use the DWF file and also in the 3D format and 2D
Files.
format. Okay, but when we are using that the manual takeoff, then
Okay.
you can use that the 2D DWF shift. Okay,
Files.
okay, it means that if you are using that the 2D drawing in the DWF format, it means that you have to use that the manual takeoff. You have not any procedure or to use that automatic takeoffs. Okay, so if you are using that the manual takeoff, it means that automatic takeoffs are deactivated at that time. Okay, you cannot use. And if you are using that the automatic takeoff tools, then the manual takeoff tools are deactivated at that time. It means that on a single time a single tool will be available. Okay, either the manual
Okay.
or either the
And
automatic.
automatic.
Okay, and in the manual we can also use that the non DWF files. Okay, that what are the non DWF files? That is the DWG drawings. I can also told you that. Okay, it means that
PDF.
that is the PDF files. Okay, the JPG format, and these are the some image format we can also use in the manual takeoff. Okay, right?
Okay.
So what are the manual takeoff? The types of manual takeoffs are the first one, that is the count. Okay, what is the meaning of count? If suppose that if you have to calculate any the number, it means
The
that you
number
have to
of
use that.
rods or number of bricks.
Yes, yes, yes. So in that case, you have to use that the count takeoff. Okay, the linear takeoff. Suppose you have to calculate that the area by the given length, then you have to use that the linear takeoff. Okay, and if you want to calculate that the length, then you can also use that the linear takeoff. Okay, and if the next one, that is the area takeoff. If you want to calculate that the volume and the area both, then you have to use the area takeoff. Okay,
Is it
and the last one, what is the meaning of backout?
account?
Backout tools.
No
What is the
idea, sir.
meaning of backout?
No idea.
No idea, sir.
Generally, backout is suppose that if you want to remove any part from the drawings, suppose that the one wall, if you are using that the example of walls, so if you are in a room, in a single room, you can use that on a single room, that is the wall on the door and window both are exist on the wall. Okay, and the
Yeah.
remaining wall you can use that the window or either any none of the component. So if you want to calculate the wall, that is the number of bricks and the materials on that wall, that is consisting that the doors and window both, okay, or any ventilations are available on the walls, then what we have to do? First you have to reduce that the doors,
Yeah.
the window and the ventilation. After that you calculate that the material, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
To remove that. Otherwise, if you are calculating that the complete wall, then it covers that the door and window and the ventilations, then it gives you the more cost and more area and the volume it will be specified. In that case, you have to use that the backout tools. So that by these tools you have to remove that the doors, the window and the ventilations, and then you can get exact area and volume and the cost of that walls. Okay,
Okay.
right? So these are the manual takeoff tools. So one by one you can see that the count takeoffs. So Already I will told that if you are using that the count that is the such as window, doors, and the number of bricks like this, so you can use that the count takeoff. Okay. Suppose if you want to
Okay.
calculate that the number of doors in the buildings, the number of window in the buildings, so like this you can use that the count takeoff also. And this is the example of count takeoff. You can see that it will be counted that the D will be how many size 1, and D1 will be the number of 2. You can see that.
Two.
This
D2 will be two.
so this is there is a count takeoff we have to use. Okay.
Yes.
Now the next one that is the linear takeoff. If you are using that the linear takeoff, so there are 4 types of linear takeoff are available. Okay. The first one that is the single click linear takeoff.
Okay.
It means that suppose if you want to calculate any length, okay, suppose that if you are calculating that the area of DPC, so you have to require that what in the drawing that is the length, only single parameters
Yeah.
are available. Yes. If you are using
Yes.
that the section view, so in that case you have to use the single click linear takeoff. And the next one that is the polyline linear takeoff. Suppose you have to calculate that the object like the polyline, then you have to use the polyline linear takeoff. And if you want to calculate that the area of any rectangle, then you have to use the rectangle linear takeoff. And if there is a object like ellipse form, then you have to use ellipse linear takeoff. So you can see that the linear takeoff. Okay, right?
Mhm.
So you have to calculate that the length. Only a single quantity will be available. Now the next one that is the area takeoff. So area takeoff will be of 3 types, that is the polyline, the rectangle, and the ellipse. So in the same way, if there is a polyline object, then you have to use polyline. If there is a rectangle object, then you have to use rectangle, and if there is a ellipse, then you have to use ellipse. So you can see that this is a rectangular. Okay, so you have to use that the rectangle area takeoff. Now this is the back out. Okay, you can see that the wall consists of what? Door, and this is
Mhm.
the window. So in that case, the total area of wall will be 31 point something. And when we
Mhm.
remove that the door and window, so it will be specified that the exact area of this wall, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here we can use that the blackout.
The
Okay.
counts.
Okay. So now the another one that is the automatic takeoff. So first we have to cover that the manual takeoff. After that we start that the from slide that is from 16. We can start when we are automatic tools. Then we can study that the automatic tools. Okay.
Mhm.
So today we first we have to cover that the manual takeoff tools the completely
Mhm.
the related to and the drawings related to the manual takeoff. And after that when we are using that the automatic takeoff, then we are study about the automatic tools,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
today I also shared that the PPT, the complete PPT. Okay, so you
Mhm.
can go through that, and if there is any confusion, then you have to ask me. Okay,
Mhm.
Okay.
clear? So now
Okay.
we start that the Autodesk Quantity Takeoff. Okay, so this is the software. Okay, so before that, if you are using that the Autodesk Quantity Takeoff, first you have to set that the currency, in which currency you want to calculate that the cost, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and what are the units if you want to use? Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so in the hands-on file, one notepad are also available. You can see that that is the currency. Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
Currencies. Yes.
So you have to right click on that, okay, text, and you have to open with a notepad. Okay, you have to open with
Mhm.
a notepad, and you can see
Okay.
that the we have to use that what that is the currency INR. In India we use that is the rupees or INR.
General.
Yes or
Mhm.
no? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have to set that currency. So what we have to do? So first you have to open this in a notepad, okay, and after that you have to minimize that, and you can write down the procedures to set that the currency. Okay, so we
Mhm.
start that the procedure. So you write
Yeah.
down. So first you have to go in the PC. Okay, Okay, and after that
Yeah.
you have to go in the C drive.
Okay.
Mm,
Okay, and then you have to go in the users, and before that, one more thing,
mm,
if you are using that the window 10, then you
mm.
have to, before, you must show that the hidden files. Okay, if
Okay.
your hidden
Okay.
items will be not
Mm,
checked, or if you are using, if you hide this one, then your
mm.
data will not available on that format.
Okay.
Okay, so
Mm.
before you are going in the C drive or in the
Mm,
users, you have to on this hidden files. Okay,
mm,
so here I have already on that, so you have to go in the users. Okay, right,
mm.
and if you have to go in the your system, which name you have to send that, that is the default. I have go in the default, and if you are using, and then this is the app data. Okay, so this is the hidden files. If you off this hidden file, then your app data
Mm.
will not display. Okay,
Okay.
so you have to use
Mm.
the hidden files. Okay, and after that
Okay.
you have to go in the local. So because this, okay, so we have to go in my drive, that is the HP. Okay, we have to go in the HP. Okay, suppose that if you have a system that is, what is the name of your system, you can identify that. Okay, suppose if you have
Okay.
created with your name, suppose like my system, I have renamed that the Sonu Kumar. Okay, so you have to open that the Sonu Kumar, and here we have renamed that the HP, so we have to open that HP. Okay,
Okay.
and here is the option, that is the app data. Okay, and after that you have to go in the local. Okay, right,
Mm.
you have written that up to there.
Then
Now we have
yes.
to go in the Autodesk. Okay,
Okay.
because the this software are also developer company will be the Autodesk, so we have to open that the Autodesk, and here is the option, that is the Autodesk Quantity Takeoff 2030.
Mm.
Okay,
Yes.
and now after that you have to open that this value, the single file, so
Mm.
you have to open this one. Okay, and here is the options, you can see that the currency. Yes or
Currencies.
no?
Yes.
So you have
Yes.
to again right click on that and open with a notepad. Okay, and you have to select that the complete file and then delete this one. Okay, then delete this one, and you can go and open your file, and then again you have to select this and then copy that file and paste in that. Okay, paste in that and then go to the file and then save the file, right? Okay,
Okay.
and then close, so your currency will be set. Yes or no?
Oh,
Okay.
Right, so you understood how to
Okay.
set that the currency and how to use that the
Mm.
path file. Okay,
Okay.
so now if you are using that the quantity takeoff, so this is the software, then you have to go in the new project. Okay,
mm.
after that you have to specify that the name of project, then we have start that the wall section. Okay, wall sections I have written. Okay,
Okay.
and after that you have to specify that the path where you want to save this file. Okay, so you have to specify that. I will create a folder on a desktop. Okay, that is a QTO file. QTO file, and I have specified that the location. Okay, so go to the
Okay.
browse option and go to the desktop. That is a QTO file. Yes, I have
Mm.
opened that. I have specified that the path, and then you have to click next. So you can see that here is the unit system. Which unit system you have to require? So basically there are two types of units are available. Okay, the one is the metric unit system, If you are using in the meter, centimeter, millimeter, then you have to use that the metric unit system, right?
Hmm.
And the another one, that is the imperial unit. You can also call that the English unit. Imperial unit are also known as the English
English.
unit, that is
English.
used in the feet or inch. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you are using that the feet or inch, then you have to select that the imperial. If you
Imperial.
are using that the meter, centimeter, and the millimeter,
Centimeter.
then the metric. Okay, so I will use that the metric unit. Okay, and here is the option that is set as the
Okay.
default for new project. So if you are not set that for every project, if you are working on the metric unit, then you have to check this. Okay, now if you want to use that the currency, so you can see that the INR currency will be so. Yes or no?
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
will select
Yes.
this and I will also set as the default for the new project. Okay. So you understood
Okay.
how to set that the currency
Okay, sir.
or no? So
Yes.
it is enough for today.
Okay, sir. You can
Okay.
practice.
So you can first install that the software and you can learn that the basic things. Okay. And after
Hmm.
that, from tomorrow we can start from the drawing. Okay. That is the
Okay.
wall
Okay,
section.
sir.
We cover that first, the wall sections. Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
Uh,
sir.
After that, we cover that the wall that contains that the door and window. Okay, so like this, we can cover one by one topic. Okay,
Okay.
okay, and I I also send that the syllabus in a group. Yes or no?
Hmm.
You have seen that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will again verify that the syllabus. Okay, so this is the
Okay.
syllabus. So okay, basically this is the 10 days topic, but we can also complete in the 7 days. Okay, because
Hmm.
Okay, sir.
this software required that the lots of practice. Okay, we
Hmm.
have to
Okay,
use
sir.
only these two tools and we have to do that the lots of practice. So the day first we have to already cover that the introductions part, the estimation, what is quantity takeoff, okay, the DWG file and for the creations, okay, okay, and the takeoff
Okay,
tools,
sir.
the manual tools we are covered, okay. We
Okay,
also
sir.
covered that the workflow and what if you are using that the software when you can open the main screen are called that the GUI, that is the graphical user.
GUI, graphical user
We
interface.
can see that how to add that the currency. So up to